Everyone should take calculus as a course. Everybody should take calculus. And some of you are going to say, no way, that's only for certain people. Well, I'm going to show you why I believe you can do calculus. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I will give you a link or the description of what you need to get a full assessment for free to see where your math skills stand so that you can begin to prepare to do calculus. Hello, my name is Amos Tarfa, and I'm a math curriculum writer as well as the director of Lifestem Academy and Learning Institute for Excellence in Minnesota. I love teaching the beauty of mathematics. If you do not think math is beautiful, I am sorry. Somewhere along the line, you might have missed the key piece of mathematics. Math is beautiful, just like music is beautiful, but many people don't get to see the beauty of math. So let's talk about why everybody should take calculus. Well, calculus as a field of study comes from Europe in the way we teach and talk about it in terms of the work of Gottfried Leibniz and Isaac Newton. Gottfried Leibniz from Germany, Isaac Newton from England. I'm wearing the Cambridge University today to represent Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton went to Cambridge for his education. One of the important pieces of math is we need to teach the history of math. We need to talk about why these things exist, and then we can help students hopefully investigate those fields. Let's talk about the origin of calculus. So calculus partly came because of astronomy. So you think about the 1600s. At this point, a man by the name of Galileo Galilei had already done some work, and he established many important pieces in astronomy. He also had a telescope, right? So he dies in 1642, and on Christmas Day of 1642, a boy is born named Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton comes to the scene, and in 1661 at Cambridge, he was at Cambridge University, but they had a plague, they had a problem, right? A pandemic of a sort. And he went back, and during some of that time, he came up with some great work that he did. Stephen Hawking actually summarizes some of the work of Isaac Newton and his story. Hawking and I, of course, do not agree on theological issues. One of my hobbies is apologetics. So I know some of Hawking's work beyond just his physics, but Hawking has put together a book that summarizes some of the key astronomers of back in the day. And then, of course, it includes Albert Einstein. So this book, On the Shoulders of Giants, tells the story of Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, Newton, and Einstein, and it also presents some of their works, right? And so Isaac Newton put together some amazing things for us, and some of those details are part of what we call calculus. Calculus is beautiful. I mean, beautiful. And here's the thing, though. There's a couple of things that are very important here. First of all, calculus is where you get to see all this algebra skills that you've been working on through the years. You get to see them come to action in calculus. So if you do algebra 1 and algebra 2, and then you choose to not do calculus, that's kind of sad, because you learn all this stuff, and then you get to see where it comes into action, right? I'll give you one example for my math people out there. When you talk about foiling polynomials or distributing and foiling, when you want to differentiate a function, sometimes you have to foil, and then you can differentiate, take ddx of each of the pieces, okay? We're not going to go too technical here. I just wanted to say there is a point to the algebra concept you're learning, and you will find that point out when you get to calculus. Now you say, how can you say everybody needs to take calculus? There's some kids who are not good at math, and some kids struggle with math. How can you do that? How can you tell them that? Well, let me introduce you to the Nigerian math curriculum. This is the Nigerian math curriculum that I grew up with, called New General Mathematics. It comes with 6 books in the series, which you cover from 7th grade to 12th grade. This is what everybody does in the country. This is not for the elite. This is for everybody, okay? So you do these 6 courses starting in 7th grade. Every year you cover 1. Now, this curriculum is written in an integrative approach, meaning that in 7th grade, you're learning a little bit of this, a little bit of geometry, a little bit of statistics, a little bit of algebraic thinking, a little bit of everything. That's how they build their curriculum all the way through 12th grade. Now, if you don't know, Nigeria, and I thank God that I got the opportunity to get the education there, but Nigeria has been able to produce some very intense math people, right? And there was a time where the fastest computer that was made at the time, back in the day, granted he was in America when he did it, was by a Nigerian, right? Philip Emeagwali. So Nigeria has this sort of reputation of having some of these kids who do well in math. So do Indian schools and Singapore and China. It's not just Nigeria, but I'm just saying Nigeria had something that was working pretty good, right? Now, here's what's interesting that might blow your mind. This is what everybody does, right? From 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade, everybody does this book. That's all we do. But when you get to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, this is going to be crazy, okay? In 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you literally have to do this. And if you want to be an engineer, and those in science class, you literally have to do another set of books called Advanced or Further Mathematics. And you have to do a third set of lessons from another teacher. Here's what I'm saying. You do 3 math courses in 10th grade, 3 math courses in 11th grade, and 3 math courses in 12th grade if you want to become an engineer. Because they put us in different tracks based on what we want to do with our lives. That's another story for another day in terms of we need to teach kids to figure out their direction in life. That's very important. But here's the thing though. Isn't it crazy? Like when I was in 10th grade, I had this book, I had homework, I had a teacher and everything. And then I had another class called Pure Further Mathematics. And then I had another class called Applied Further Mathematics. 3 different teachers, 3 different tests, 3 different grades. It was intense, but we did it, and we thank God. But I want kids in America to have this experience because we take math seriously at Lifestem Academy. We want children to flourish to the max with their math ability. But let me land the plane here. Here's the catch. This is the general math curriculum, okay? I'm picking up the 12th grade one, for example. When you open to the table of contents of the 12th grade math curriculum for Nigerian students, these are students, some of whom are living in conditions where there's no constant electricity. They're living with very difficult circumstances, right? If you don't have constant electricity, you don't have internet. You're in serious trouble. And even though kids have this as a concern, every child in Nigerian high schools has to take calculus concepts. Every single child. No exceptions. No exceptions. Isn't it mind-blowing that some of the places with very difficult situations are not giving people a pass? You must learn differentiation. You must learn integration. I mean, this isn't the general math class, okay? Now remember, I had Advanced Math 1 and Advanced Math 2. Imagine what we were doing in those classes, right? I will be honest, I actually didn't really, I didn't thrive and enjoy the advanced math courses as much, partly because my brain was always asking, why am I learning this? What is the point? Well, now I look back and the ability to think and our thinking ability being sharpened was worth it, right? If I went back to 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, my attitude would be very different. And that's what I want to inspire in students today. Okay, let me calm down here, but you guys get the gist. We can help more students do calculus in America, by far. When you lower the bar for a child, then that child might only ascribe to that particular bar that you've set. When you raise the bar, which is what they do in Nigeria and many parts of the world, children rise to the occasion. Children rise to the occasion. Let me say 2 more things on this textbook phenomenon here that is kind of interesting. We had notebooks that were accurate. Everybody had to have notes. That's what I teach students. Everybody had to have notes. So when you're doing these problems, you have problems to answer at the end of the chapter. You do it in your notebook, right? And so you needed to have notes. And then these tests were cumulative, right? You had to take cumulative tests that covered everything you learned, like in 10th grade, everything you learned in 10th grade for this math book. Are you ready for this part that might be a little intense? And then when you're in 12th grade, you have to know everything cumulative here. We had to learn solid study skills to take cumulative tests of 3 years worth of math. If you failed the test, you were literally done. You were stuck. You didn't get to go to college. If you ever failed any one of these books, you repeated the whole grade, not just the math. You repeat the whole grade as a whole. Now that might be a little harsh, but that was the way they trained us in Nigeria, and it really did us a lot of good. We built stamina, we built resilience. We had to work hard. We had to study for hours, sometimes 4 hours, 5 hours a day. And all of that training is why many people come from Nigeria and different parts of the world, and they're able to ace the American curriculum easily. Like the American undergraduate curriculum for many people that come from these kinds of studies. And again, I wasn't the best in math. My friend who went to MIT was. I wasn't the best in advanced math. Another friend of mine who I believe is an engineer was. But I'm just saying it did something to us. So when we see the American undergraduate university, some of the courses, it's just like high school again, because we're doing stuff that, like, we did differentiation and integration in high school. And so when we come here and we have to take Calc 1, it's just like, playing with basic math. Again, I'm not saying it's easy, but we should not give up just because something is hard. So where do we land this plane? My book, Tools for Mastering Mathematics, provides you with a guide for how to be good at math. And that book is available. You can look at the link in the description. But also, I have a website, a section of a website called My Open Math. I have a course ID and an enrollment key that you can enter. And when you enter those details, it would allow you to do a pre-algebra diagnostic assessment. And if you enroll in the algebra course, you can actually do the algebra assessment. Why is this assessment important? It will show you every single concept that you're lacking in and how to improve. You can send me an email if you want to discuss and set up a time to pay for a session to go over the results. But at least you can do the test to see where you stand to then plan out your future. We can do calculus, America. We can do it. It should not be scary because calculus is the bedrock for many fields. Astronomy, economics, physics, chemistry. There's a lot of things we see in calculus. So I want everyone to do calculus. And that's why I'm willing to offer my book to anybody who is, I don't know, if you're 80 and above, you can have my book for free because I want you to learn calculus. I want you to live your life on this earth knowing that you learn calculus and you enjoy the beauty of math, which can be found in calculus. So thank you to people like Isaac Newton. Thank you to people like Johannes Kepler, Galileo, to people like that who have made it possible. And to my students and to anybody else who wants to join our program, we will teach you the history of math so that you can hopefully invent, discover, and transform the world that you live in. Because everything goes back to math, a beautiful field that the world has been blessed with. Because God created the world, we have laws that govern it, and math gives us a perfect way to study the world. Take care and have a blessed day.